wild R.L.
Hey,
Stein enthusiasts out there. Your two favorite Cinephellas are back here. I'm Logan Myers. That's my good mate over there.
I'm Henry Hill, and that's right. We are back once again. We're reviewing a TV series that dropped on Disney Plus. It's been out quite some time now. We just finally got a chance to binge watch it, and it stars David Schwimmer. You might remember him from a little show called Friends on NBC. Not Joey. No, that's Ross. And we were talking about Disney Plus and Hulu's Goosebumps, The Vanishing.
I don't know if I want to be down here. You don't have a kid in your basement, do you?
No, that would be. No. Are you okay?
That's right. Your two favorite horror fiends are back here for Cinephellas. Just getting around to season two. If you guys remember, we reviewed season one a few years back. Had a great time with it. So I was interested to see this and watch the eight episode run of season two. Of course, all of the titles of the episodes are books from R.L. Stein, and this season really has to do with the eccentric botanist played by David Schwimmer behind me. He has twin kids. There he is, right there. Beautiful hairpiece on, intact right there. Basically, it has to do with him. He's his dad, has twins. They come to live with him in Brooklyn, New York, and it really revolves in 1994 with four missing teenagers and what's going on with this crazy guy behind me.
Yet again, another anthology. We remember the first season with Justin Long. Each episode represents one of the books in the R.L. Stein series. This one's much of the same. I think they went a little darker this season, it felt like, a little harder edge, older teen, young adult kind of horror this time. So it doesn't like get too gory or anything, but it definitely feels darker this season. Kind of weird that we didn't get to watch it around the Halloween season, so it takes you somewhat out of like the spooky season and stuff like that. It would have been better if this would have dropped back during Halloween and we would have reviewed it back then, but here we are and we finally got around to watching it. And David Schwimmer's back on TV. He's playing a botanist here. Not a very believable role at all, and kind of a safe pick. It felt like it was a very uninspiring performance. Playing a botanist here, playing the dad this time. We're used to seeing him, back in his 30s during Friends. It's a totally different role this time. Not a bad actor at all. It's not what I'm saying. It just felt like this was kind of like he kind of phoned it in. That's what it felt like on this
Yeah,
one.
sure. I think it was totally miscast. I don't know. David Schwimmer wouldn't be my number one choice for like a role in like a horror teen show on Disney, but hey, he got cast and he did the best he could, but not really believable. I didn't really like much of the cast either. As kids, there's a group of teenagers. They were all kind of, annoying. And yeah, as you were saying earlier, it's definitely a darker tone this season, having to do with this kind of weird stuff going on behind me, plants, and it has kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers vibe to it
Mhm.
throughout the course of the eight episodes, having to do in New York City, going underground in the tunnels, and a bunch of, really a lot of CGI scenes having to do with the substance behind me. And that kind of took me out of it too. That even the CGI visual effects did not look good or believable.
I agree with you. This felt like a Stranger Things knockoff this season for the most part. A lot of similar scenes, things down in the tunnels and silos and old, military missile silo bunkers and old scientists and secrets from the past that they had to unlock. Just felt very familiar. I was never fully invested. They never sort of hooked you from an episode and then carried to your end. It was just kind of scattered, and the way that they did it with the different books in the series, like, it kind of didn't make sense either at some points. Like, for some reason, the car came alive. They never really took their time to explain each and everything that they did. They just kind of went with it. And it all started with, this botanist and being down there and, basically something forming out of what he was working on down in his basement and it becoming big and taking over people's bodies. Like you can see David Schwimmer back behind you kind of transforming, and all having to do too with not only the present story, but about these kids that had disappeared, hence the Vanishing title. Vanishing, many years before, and then you learn about David Schwimmer's character's past and having to do with that. and it all kind of comes together at the end. But at that point, by the time it ended, I didn't care at all, really. It was just kind of a relief to finally have the 8 episodes watched. I felt like, while it wasn't a complete waste of time, I definitely could have watched a couple better movies or shows in that same time that I dedicated to watch this. But that's okay. We finished it here, and overall very underwhelmed. It wasn't that great of a season. I enjoyed the first season a lot better. I thought Justin Long is just better in that kind of universe. He's already played in that kind of horror science fiction sandbox before. David Schwimmer was just out of his element here. The kids, like you mentioned, there weren't any of them that I liked and cared for really. There's usually one or two characters that you're invested in these shows, and if one of your young adults doesn't really inspire you or give you a reason to follow along, you're kind of bored the whole time, and that's what I found myself pretty bored overall with this season.
Well, I'll put it this way. It took me 2 weeks to finish 8 episodes. Usually I can knock these out in a day. So, yeah, I agree with you. You got the symbiote behind me, by the way. You got
Yeah.
Venom here. Yeah, totally miscast. Totally lazy, boring, lifeless, unoriginal, and uninteresting season. That was very painful to get through. And I loved the first season with Justin Long. I thought it had a lot of great qualities to it. And I was really pumped for the second season with the anthology. Of course, each season's gonna be different actors, actresses, different stories and stuff like that. And this felt like it was just dragged out. These books trying to make it work in 8 episodes, and you could tell they just gave up after episode 2. So this is just a TV show, painful to get through. Definitely not going to be rewatching this. And if they come back for season 3, hopefully they'll fix all the mistakes they had with this one. For me, don't waste your time on this. Unless you're really bored, check out season 2 of Goosebumps: The Vanishing. With that being said, I'm going to give The Vanishing, I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 5 David Schwimmer symbiote hairpieces.
Watcher beware, you're in for a scare. I'll give it a 2 out of 5 Goosebumps hair pieces.
So I want to hear from all you Goosebumps fans out there. What did you like about the new season of Vanishing? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite book by R.L. Stine? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out these wild ghouls on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news and reviews.
We'll be getting some more R.L. Stine themed movies very soon. If you remember back a few years ago, the Fear Street movies that took place in a different time period. We're going to be getting some 90s theme Fear Street coming out. I saw a couple posters. Don't know if it has an official release date, but I believe it's supposed to be coming out this year. So definitely looking forward to that. I enjoyed those. Those were just altogether better, just a better setting, better adapted book, and less cheesy and campy than Goosebumps. Goosebumps is pretty kiddish, and we've seen a lot of it already on screen, with the Jack Black movies and now the show. The Fear Street ones were more exciting, and I didn't really remember a lot of those, so they felt new and fresh, and we're able to do some other things. R.L. Stine, he keeps writing, though. He's still writing these books, Goosebumps, all these years later. So he's really made a great living off these books and does a great job. Always loved reading these books as a kid, the artwork and just the clever titles and everything. And look forward to watching the show back when we get home from grade school and throw it on Fox, and they'd have the old show. And they're showing those too. They were on Netflix for a while. So the Goosebumps name lives on. Hopefully, like you mentioned, they'll be able to improve if and when season 3 comes back. So thank you guys for watching our review of Goosebumps season 2, The Vanishing. Hopefully David Schwimmer's career doesn't vanish after this. So until the next Cinephellas TV review, I'm Uncle Henry Hill.
And I'm Logan Stein, signing out till the next TV review. Cheers!
Cheers!